Imagine this, you're in your backyard when an intruder breaks into your home. Before you know it, you're face to face with a stranger. But it's not a conflict exactly, not yet. There's some stranger in one of your bedrooms. An Oregon mom was in this reality. Take a look at this video. A homeless woman was in her house sleeping in her son's bed. The dog's discovering her first. Clearly the mom is like perplexed and thinking, okay, what do I do exactly here? That mom, Kelsey Smith, is joining me right now. Kelsey, it looks as though, I'm watching the video up above this monitor, it looks as though you're sitting there and thinking, okay, what do I do now?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I definitely wasn't sure what I was looking at first. In fact, I was a little confused. I thought maybe it was my husband curled up in my clean laundry, but that didn't make a lot of sense. I think my brain was just trying to fire off all the different potential reasons for this person being in my bed or in my son's bed. And once I realized it was a homeless person, I backed out of the room in order to sort of guide her out the door. I opened the door and told her that she needed to leave. And at that point, she hopped off the bed and picked up the ottoman at the foot of the bed and rushed at me and threw it at me and then walked out the door.
So she did leave, but you called police and they were actually able to apprehend her, but then released her.
Correct. We called the police and she was actually picked up about 4 houses down, trying to break into somebody else's house. So, yep.
And this has never happened, but clearly there are, I mean, I've heard from friends who live in Spokane, in Portland, and they're saying the homelessness issue has become unheard of.
It has, but I mean, you know, the reality is that this incident speaks volumes about what our society needs to be doing differently. I mean, I'm glad in a way that she picked my house because I have a medically fragile child and I've had my share of stressful situations. You know, being a parent to a child with disabilities, as well as a foster parent, I'm acutely aware of the repercussions of the gaps in services to these communities.
But she crawled into the bed and she walked into your house. You must have had the front door open because you were in the backyard.
Right.
But, and
I
again,
did. We have contractors coming and going because we're doing a remodel for my son. So yeah, I did have the front door unlocked. Was not open, but it was unlocked. And so she just walked right in. And as you can see, my dogs greeted her affectionately.
Yes, yeah, they did. I'm sure she didn't even mind. But clearly you're speaking to the fact that there is a mental health crisis and that resources are necessary. But does this make you feel less safe living in Portland?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's just a Portland problem. Honestly, I think it's a national problem. I hear these stories every day happening all over the country. You know, I'm currently a part of a group that's fighting for systemic change with an organization called Advocates for Disability Supports. And we're crafting a bill with Senator Tim Knopp that will be coming forward next legislative session that's going to start removing barriers to support for the youngest and most vulnerable, which is important to me because it's children with disabilities like mine. But, you know, it's easy to see this situation and see a woman with a history of institutionalization that just walks in to take a nap as crazy or drug fueled. But we have to look at the bigger picture. You know, our support systems have visibly failed her. And while I don't even pretend to guess what her childhood or early adulthood entailed, as a mother with a child with disabilities, I can speak to the importance of stabilizing and providing adequate mental health supports to families experiencing disability, whether it's physical, mental, or behavioral.
Yeah. And Kelsey Smith, obviously, you're involved and you're connected. And this is something that's going to take a lot of partnerships between communities and the government. Thank you so much for joining us. And it's amazing that you had cameras not only in that room, but at that doorbell, of course, like a lot of people do now, to capture that moment. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.